In the quiet coastal town of Brighton, where the sea whispered stories of hope and struggle, Emily Thompson lived a life defined by challenges. At 28, she was more than just a waitress and night cleaner. She was a daughter, a caregiver, and a silent warrior fighting against life's relentless difficulties. Every morning began before the sun had even considered rising. Emily would carefully prepare her mother's medications, making sure each pill was perfectly positioned, each dose meticulously measured. Her mother, Margaret, had been battling chronic illness for years, and Emily had become her primary caretaker since her father's unexpected death 5 years earlier. The small cottage they lived in was modest, with peeling wallpaper and worn furniture that told stories of better times. Margaret's medical bills were a constant weight on Emily's shoulders, a mountain of paper that seemed to grow higher with each passing month. Her 2 jobs barely covered their basic expenses, leaving little room for anything beyond survival. As a waitress at the local seaside cafe, Emily moved between tables with a grace that masked her inner exhaustion. Her uniform was always crisp, her smile always present, even when customers were demanding or tips were small. During the night, she transformed into a cleaner, moving silently through empty office buildings, scrubbing floors and emptying trash bins. Her dreams of becoming a nurse had been put on hold years ago. The moment her father passed away, Emily knew her life would never be the same. College became a distant memory, replaced by the immediate need to support her mother and keep their small household running. The town of Brighton was kind but unforgiving. Everyone knew everyone, and whispers traveled faster than the morning breeze. Some pitied Emily, seeing her constant struggle. Others admired her quiet determination. But Emily never sought attention or sympathy. She simply kept moving forward, one day at a time. Her routine was predictable yet challenging. Wake up at 4:30 a.m., prepare breakfast and medications for her mother, work at the cafe from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., rest for a few hours, then clean offices from 9 p.m. until midnight. Sleep was a luxury she rarely afforded herself. Margaret would often look at her daughter with a mixture of guilt and pride. "You shouldn't sacrifice your life for me," she would say, her voice weak but loving. Emily would simply smile, hold her mother's hand, and respond, "This is what family does." On this particular morning, as winter's cold breath swept through Brighton, Emily received an unexpected medical bill. The amount was staggering, more than she had earned in the past 2 months combined. Her hands trembled as she read the numbers, understanding that this would mean even more sacrifices. The kitchen was small but clean, with a view of the gray sea outside. Photographs of happier times lined the walls. Her parents' wedding picture, a family vacation from years ago, her high school graduation. Each image was a reminder of what she had lost and what she was fighting to preserve. Emily took a deep breath, folded the bill carefully, and placed it in a drawer. She couldn't let this defeat her. She had survived worse. Her mother needed her, and she would find a way just as she always had. As dawn broke over Brighton, casting a soft light through the kitchen window, Emily finished preparing her mother's breakfast. Toast carefully buttered, medications precisely arranged, a cup of tea steaming and comforting. Her life was a delicate balance of responsibility, love, and unspoken dreams. She hadn't chosen this path, but she was determined to walk it with dignity and strength. The medical bill was just another challenge, another obstacle to overcome. In that moment, watching the sea and listening to her mother's gentle breathing, Emily allowed herself a brief moment of hope. Something would change. Something had to change. Little did she know that her life was about to take an unexpected turn, that the universe was preparing a series of events that would challenge everything she understood about struggle, hope, and possibility. The day was just beginning, and with it came the promise of unknown opportunities, hidden within the ordinary moments of an extraordinary life. The Brighton cafe where Emily worked was more than just a place of employment. It was a small universe of stories, conversations, and unexpected encounters. On a chilly Wednesday morning, as Emily balanced coffee cups and navigated between tables, She caught the attention of Richard Peterson, a local school teacher who had been a regular customer for months. Richard was different from other patrons. He wasn't just another face passing through, ordering coffee and rushing out. He noticed things: the slight tremor in Emily's hands when she carried heavy trays, the tired lines around her eyes, the way she would pause for just a moment between tasks, gathering her strength. That morning, Richard arrived earlier than usual. The cafe was quiet, with only the soft clinking of cups and the distant sound of the sea filling the space. Emily approached his table, her notepad ready, expecting the usual quick order. But Richard looked up and asked a question that would change everything. "How are you managing?" he said softly, his eyes kind and observant. Emily was surprised. No one had asked her that question in years, not with genuine concern. She hesitated, unsure how to respond. Years of keeping her struggles private had made her cautious about sharing personal details. Richard didn't push. He simply shared that he was a school teacher at the local community college, and he had noticed her working consistently. Always. Professional, always kind. He recognized the signs of someone carrying heavy responsibilities. During her break, Richard gently inquired about her dreams. Emily, usually guarded, found herself sharing her long-abandoned hope of becoming a nurse. She explained about her mother's medical condition, the financial constraints, and the multiple jobs she worked. To her surprise, Richard wasn't just listening. He was actively thinking. He pulled out a notebook and began writing down information about local scholarship programs, community healthcare training initiatives, and part-time study options that might work around her current work schedule. "There are opportunities," he explained, "that many people don't know about. Scholarships for mature students, evening classes, financial support for caregivers." Emily had heard promises before, but something about Richard's approach felt different. He wasn't offering empty sympathy but practical guidance. He introduced her to local community resource contacts, shared website links, and even offered to help her review application forms. Over the next few weeks, Richard became more than a customer. He was a mentor, a guide navigating the complex world of educational opportunities. He understood the challenges faced by individuals like Emily, those caught between personal responsibilities and personal aspirations. The cafe became their meeting place. During her breaks, Emily would sit with Richard, reviewing scholarship applications, discussing study strategies, and slowly rebuilding her confidence. He introduced her to other teachers and community workers who could provide additional support. What Emily didn't realize was that Richard saw something special in her. Her resilience, her commitment to her mother, her unbroken spirit despite challenging circumstances, these were qualities that defined true potential. One afternoon, while helping her review a nursing school application, Richard shared a personal story. Years ago, his own sister had been in a similar situation, working multiple jobs, caring for family, dreams seemingly out of reach. Someone had helped her, and now she was a successful healthcare professional. "The right support can change everything," he told Emily, his voice warm and encouraging. For the first time in years, Emily felt a spark of genuine hope. The impossible suddenly seemed possible. The mountain of challenges she had been climbing appeared less steep, less intimidating. Her mother noticed the change. "You're smiling more," Margaret observed one evening. Emily realized she was. The weight of her responsibilities hadn't changed, but her perspective had. Richard represented more than just practical help. He represented the power of human connection, of someone believing in another person's potential when they themselves had almost given up. As winter slowly gave way to the first hints of spring in Brighton, Emily understood that her journey was about to transform. The unexpected connection with Richard was more than a coincidence. It was an opportunity disguised as a simple conversation in a small seaside cafe. The night was cold and unforgiving, much like the challenges Emily had been facing. Her cleaning shift at the local business complex felt endless, each room a reminder of the mounting pressures that threatened to consume her spirit. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows that seemed to mirror her growing exhaustion. Her mother's recent medical report had arrived that morning, another unexpected complication that would require expensive treatment. The medical bills were now a towering mountain of paper and worry, each document a sharp reminder of her financial limitations. Emily's hands trembled as she moved the mop across the polished floor. Her mind raced with calculations. How could she possibly manage? The nursing school application she had carefully prepared with Richard's help now seemed like a distant dream. The scholarship seemed impossible, the financial gap too wide to bridge. In the quiet of the empty office building, surrounded by silent desks and forgotten paperwork, Emily finally broke. The tears came silently at first, then with increasing intensity. Years of holding everything together, her mother's care, her multiple jobs, her suppressed dreams, suddenly felt unbearable. She sat on the cold floor, cleaning supplies scattered around her, and allowed herself to feel the full weight of her struggle. The fluorescent light seemed to blur, her reflection in the window a fragile silhouette of exhaustion and despair. But something remarkable happened in that moment of complete vulnerability. As the tears fell, a strange sense of clarity began to emerge. Emily realized that breaking down didn't mean breaking. It meant acknowledging her pain, her struggle, her humanity. Her thoughts drifted to her mother, to Richard's encouragement, to the countless hours she had worked without losing hope. She thought about the nursing dream that had never truly died, just been temporarily placed on a shelf of survival. With trembling hands, she pulled out the nursing school application from her bag. The papers were slightly crumpled, but the dream remained intact. She remembered Richard's words. Your circumstances don't define your potential. Your response to those circumstances does. In that moment of darkness, Emily made a decision. She would not surrender. She would fight harder, smarter, with every ounce of strength she possessed. The remainder of her cleaning shift became a testament to her renewed determination. Each movement was deliberate, each thought focused on finding a solution. She began, mentally mapping out strategies, additional part-time work, potential scholarship angles, community resources she hadn't yet explored. When her shift ended, the first hints of dawn were breaking over Brighton. The sea outside looked calm, almost hopeful. Emily felt a transformation happening within her, from a person overwhelmed by circumstances to someone ready to challenge those circumstances. She thought about her mother, who had always taught her that strength wasn't about never falling, but about rising every time she fell. Margaret had survived her own challenges, had raised Emily with love and resilience despite limited resources. Richard had shown her that support existed in unexpected places. The community resources he had introduced her to weren't just bureaucratic channels, but genuine pathways of hope. By the time she reached home, her tears had dried. Her mother was asleep, a gentle smile on her face. Emily covered her with an extra blanket, a silent promise forming in her heart. She would find a way, not just for herself, but for her mother, for their shared dream. The nursing school application sat on the kitchen table, a symbol of possibility. Emily knew the road. Ahead would be challenging. The financial gap was significant, the obstacles real. But for the first time in years, she saw these challenges not as insurmountable walls, but as hurdles to be crossed. Her breaking point had become her turning point. The nursing scholarship opportunity arrived like a whisper of fate, unexpected and precious. Brighton Community College had announced a special scholarship for mature students with exceptional personal stories and demonstrated resilience. The application process was rigorous, designed to find not just academic potential, but true human spirit. Emily approached the challenge with a calm she had never known before. Richard helped her prepare, spending evenings reviewing her application, helping her articulate her journey. Her story wasn't just about academic achievements, but about survival, love, and unwavering commitment. The application required a personal essay explaining life challenges and future aspirations. Emily wrote about caring for her mother, working multiple jobs, and her dream of becoming a nurse. She described the moments of struggle, the times she almost gave up, and the hope that continuously pulled her forward. Her hands shook as she submitted the application. The competition would be tough. Hundreds of students would apply, each with their own compelling story. But Emily knew something different resided within her, a quiet determination that went beyond mere words. Weeks of waiting felt like an eternity. Every morning she would check her email, her heart racing with anticipation. Her mother noticed her increased nervousness, offering gentle words of comfort. "Whatever happens," Margaret would say, "you've already achieved so much." Richard continued supporting her, teaching her interview skills, helping her build confidence. He would ask practice questions, helping Emily articulate her experiences, clearly and passionately. His belief in her never wavered, even when her own confidence flickered. The interview day arrived like a storm. Emily dressed carefully in a simple navy blue suit, her hair neatly arranged, her hands steady. The college interview panel consisted of 3 professionals, 2 nurses and an educational administrator. They asked challenging questions. Why nursing? How would she manage her studies with her current responsibilities? What made her different from other candidates? Emily spoke from her heart. She spoke about her mother's illness, her multiple jobs, her understanding of healthcare's human side. She described how her personal experiences would make her a compassionate nurse, her ability to multitask, her understanding of patient care, through her mother's experiences, her resilience. These weren't just answers, but a passionate testament to her potential. The interview panel listened intently. They saw more than just a scholarship candidate. They saw a story of human resilience, of dreams fighting against extraordinary odds. Days passed. Emily tried to maintain her routine, refusing to get her hopes too high. But something felt different. The universe seemed to be holding its breath, waiting. Then came the letter. A large envelope from the college arrived, bearing the official seal. Emily's hands trembled as she opened it, her mother watching nervously beside her. The scholarship was hers. Not just partial funding, but a complete scholarship that would cover her nursing education. Additionally, they offered a small monthly stipend to support her living expenses. Tears came, but these were different. These were tears of victory, of hope realized, of dreams taking flight. Her mother hugged her, both of them understanding the magnitude of this moment. Richard, when he heard the news, celebrated with her. "I always knew you could do this," he said, his eyes reflecting genuine pride. The scholarship meant more than just educational funding. It was validation of her struggle, recognition of her potential. It was proof that resilience could overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. Emily understood that this wasn't just her victory. It was a victory for her mother, who had supported her through countless challenges. It was a victory for Richard, who had believed in her when she had stopped believing in herself. As evening settled over Brighton, the sea outside seemed to celebrate with her. Waves crashed against the shore, a rhythmic reminder that life, like the ocean, is about constant movement, about pushing through challenges, about finding hope in unexpected moments. Her nursing journey was about to begin, not just as a career path, but as a calling born from love, struggle, and an unbreakable human spirit. The first day of nursing school felt like stepping into a new world. Emily walked through the college corridors, her nursing textbooks clutched close to her heart, feeling both nervous and excited. The white uniform she wore symbolized more than just a student's attire. It represented years of struggle, hope, and unbreakable determination. Her classmates were diverse, young students fresh from high school, working professionals changing careers, and mature students like herself. But Emily knew her journey was different. She wasn't just studying to become a nurse. She was fulfilling a dream that had been put on hold for years. Margaret's health had slightly improved, thanks to better medical care and Emily's dedicated support. She would sit in their small cottage looking at her daughter's nursing photographs, her eyes filled with pride. "You're becoming the person you always wanted to be," she would tell Emily. Richard continued to be her mentor, helping her navigate the challenging curriculum. He would meet her for coffee, review her study notes, and provide emotional support during tough academic weeks. His belief in her never wavered, even when Emily doubted herself. The nursing program was intense. Long hours of studying, practical training, and complex medical knowledge tested Emily's limits. But she approached each challenge with the same resilience that had carried her through years of struggle. Her practical training at local hospitals revealed her true potential. Patients and senior nurses noticed something special in Emily, a compassion that went beyond textbook learning. She understood patient care not just as a medical procedure, but as a human connection. One particular incident during her hospital training became a defining moment. An elderly patient, reminiscent of her mother, was feeling scared and lonely. While other students rushed through their tasks, Emily sat, held the patient's hand, and listened to her stories. Her supervisors recognized her exceptional skills. "You're not just learning to be a nurse," one senior nurse told her. "You're learning to heal people's spirits." Financial challenges continued, but they no longer seemed insurmountable. The scholarship, combined with part-time work, allowed Emily to support her mother and focus on her studies. Each passing semester brought her closer to her dream. As graduation approached, Emily reflected on her journey. From a cafe waitress and night cleaner to a qualified nurse, her transformation was nothing short of miraculous. She had proven that dreams don't have an expiration date, that resilience could overcome any obstacle. Her graduation ceremony was more than an academic celebration. It was a testament to human spirit, to the power of hope, and to never giving up. Margaret sat in the front row, tears of joy streaming down her face. Richard was there too, his smile reflecting the pride of a true mentor. When Emily received her nursing diploma, the applause wasn't just for her academic achievement. It was a recognition of her extraordinary journey, a journey of love, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. Her first job came at a local community hospital, working in the geriatric ward. Every patient reminded her of her mother, every interaction a chance to provide the compassionate care she had always dreamed of giving. Margaret's health continued to improve, partially due to Emily's professional medical knowledge, and partially due to the joy of seeing her daughter's dream realized. Their small cottage, once a symbol of struggle, now represented hope and transformation. Richard remained a constant source of support, sometimes visiting the hospital where Emily worked, always proud of the woman she had become. He had been more than a mentor. He had been a beacon of hope during her darkest moments. The sea outside their Brighton home continued its eternal rhythm, a constant reminder that life, like waves, is about continuous movement, about pushing through challenges, about finding hope in unexpected moments. Emily's story became an inspiration in her community. Young people struggling with their dreams would hear her story and find renewed hope. She had proven that with determination, support, and belief, anything was possible. As she stood in her nursing uniform looking out at the sea, Emily understood that her journey was more than a personal victory. It was a message of hope, a proof that dreams, no matter how distant, can always be realized. At the small cottage, Emily began making calls, sending emails, exploring every potential avenue. She was no longer just surviving. She was preparing to truly live her dream. The sea outside continued its eternal rhythm, a quiet witness to her transformation, a reminder that, like the waves, life is about constant movement, about pushing forward, about finding hope in the most unexpected moments.